If you enjoy modern slash gonzo pornography, James Bond movies, and 50 Shades of Grey, you will probably love Six of Crows. Damn, this guy had a thing for homeboy's feet. I'm already getting pissed. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pint Size Reader. I'm Abigail, and today we are going to be reading bad reviews of some of my favorite books. So I picked out about 7 books that I rated 5 stars and I personally loved, and we're gonna go on Goodreads and we're gonna read some 1-star reviews of them. This is gonna hurt, guys. I can feel it. Like, this is just gonna, it's gonna just hurt my soul. Without further ado, let's just get into it. The first book that we will start off with is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, aka... Oh. Guys, I can't even explain. This is definitely like probably either my first or second favorite book of all time. Well, I mean, I do love Crooked Kingdom slightly more. But for right now, we're just gonna go with Six of Crows. The Six of Crows duology is one of my favorite books of all time, one of my favorite series of all time. And I figured I'd give you just a brief synopsis if you've never heard of Six of Crows, which would be quite strange because this book is extremely popular on BookTube, and for good reason. So this book takes place in the Grishaverse, which Leigh Bardugo's Shadow and Bone trilogy is also set in. But this takes place on a different continent in a different part of the world in that universe, but it does still have the Grisha and that same kind of magical aspect. So this book follows Kaz Brecker, who is this criminal prodigy, and he kind of runs this gang called the Dregs. And one day he's approached by one of these rich merchants that kind of run the city that he lives in. He is presented a deal that he cannot resist. They will make him unimaginably rich if he goes on this seemingly impossible heist, this ice court that no one has ever broken into. But to do that, he will need some extra help. And so he recruits, and I'm just gonna read it from the back because it says it's much better than I will ever say it. A convict with a thirst for revenge, a sharpshooter who can't walk away from a wager, a runaway with a privileged past, a spy known as the Wraith, and a heart-trender using her magic to survive the slums. I love this book, quite simply. All the characters, they hold such a deep place in my heart. And so let's see some people tear them apart. Okay, this one is a really long one. Oh my god. So Melissa Stacy rated this book 1 star. She lists out some positives first, so let's look there. The writing is superb. Artist sentence level, this book is gorgeous. I agree, Melissa. 2, the world building detail and setting description are outstanding. I also agree, Melissa. The plot is so tightly woven that the reader forgives the flashback interruptions. Forgives them. We welcome them, Melissa. I'm already getting pissed. I.e., long sections of backstory sprinkled through the middle and end of the book because the pacing is so quick and so strong. Wow, the pacing is quick until the last 3 chapters. These final 3 chapters all dragged me to the point that instead of 2-starring this book for great writing, I could not justify the extra star. So 3 chapters dragging? 3. Only 3. It's like 30 pages, 30, 40 pages, and that bumps it down a whole star? I don't know. I wouldn't personally do that in my own ratings, but okay, Melissa. There's nothing like a slow, dragging ending to a fast-paced book to remind me how much I hated this novel and how toxic the content of this book really is. This is so funny. Oh my god, okay. Wow, we are throwing some heavy stuff in here. This book is a wish fulfillment trope fest, packed with ableism and misogyny. Let me know down in the comments where you saw the ableism and misogyny in this book. Where you have badass women knowing their worth, and you have a main character who walks with a cane. Okay. Let's keep reading. The setting of Six of Crows is a modern, graphic imaginary that equates death with sex, feelings with weakness, and ignores basic human psychology in favor of a James Bond level action tale. If you enjoy modern slash gonzo pornography, James Bond movies, and 50 Shades of Grey, you will probably love Six of Crows. I don't enjoy any of those things, just a hands up. I curse this book. Curse it with every bit of emotional poison that this book tried to feed me. Here's an incomplete list of vile garbage a reader will find in this novel. The disability that was never there trope. Seen in the main character of Kaz Brecker, who is portrayed as a human teenager. Why did you need to specify that he's a human teenager? With a damaged leg, in need of a cane when he walks. But Kaz Brecker actually has the physical prowess of a US Navy SEAL / US Green Beret all throughout this book. And the cane even disappears from the page around the midpoint of this book. Yeah, it does, because he can't bring it into the ice court, but he still struggles and he limps. Oh God. You know what, Melissa? You're missing the point. You're missing the point of this book. Okay. This trope is ableist AF. This is not good disability rep. Literary ableism this severe and egregious is not doing anyone any favors. Characters like Kaz Brecker, who uses a cane only as a story prop, reinforce that harmful attitude to a startling degree, and I really can't with this shit. First of all, Leigh Bardugo uses a cane to walk too. So I don't think you can sit here and say that it's not good representation when it was literally like an own voices kind of thing. Teenage characters who are not really teenagers. Oh my God. This is a complaint that gets brought up with this book all the time. And it doesn't make sense to me, because sometimes teenagers have to grow up really fast when they're left alone on the streets, like a lot of these characters are, with major trauma happening to them. They have to take care of themselves, and to do that, they have to grow up really fast. They do talk like teenagers. Were you not paying attention when they're arguing like little children? Well, my ghost wouldn't associate with your ghost. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That is such a thing. Oh, their banter, that is totally teenage banter. No one is innocent, morally clean, or good in this book. That's the point. The teenage boys are all permanently emotionally damaged, and the teenage girls and homosexual boys who are coded as feminine by society are the sole vessels of any humanity left in the world, the life rats that the permanently damaged boys must cling to in order to survive their emotional trauma. Inej has emotional trauma. Are you forgetting the whole she was a slave? Okay, Melissa, okay. True love cures the monster. Six of Crows is a double whammy of this powerful trope. Nina and Inej both fall in love with emotionally unavailable men. Men who would torture and kill people and don't feel bad about it or regret their behavior at all, aka sociopaths. I'm just gonna leave that one there. I cannot, in good conscience, recommend Six of Crows to anyone. I certainly wouldn't recommend this book to any teen reader. This is an adult fantasy with an unrealistic cast of teens. Teens who are made teens in name only, so the book could be marketed and sold as YA. If this book were an adult fantasy, I would understand that it is tapping into the same pornographic, again she says imaginary instead of imagery, as 50 Shades of Grey in order to cater to the adult pornographic mindset. I would hate the book less than I currently do, but I would still not recommend it for the same reason that I don't recommend the 50 Shades of Grey. Culture books are just not my thing at all. Where is she getting this pornography from? Okay, that's it for Six of Crows. I think we're good there. We're gonna stop there for Six of Crows. Melissa really spelled the tea on that one. Oh my gosh, there's 76 comments under it. I bet that people just like yelling at her. Okay, so the next book that we are going to do is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. As you can see by the yellowed pages, it's falling apart. There's that. Yeah, I have reread this book so many times. This book is so beautiful. I just love this book so much. It's probably one of my favorite books of all time, possibly my favorite book of all time. So this is gonna really hurt. But anyway, so this book is about this boy named Ari, or Aristotle, and he is just very angry at the world. He's a young teen. He starts out the book at 15, and I think he ends it at like 17 or 18. His brother went to prison when he was really young, and his parents just pretend like he doesn't exist. He has two way older sisters that kind of just treat him like he's like their child and not their brother. And his dad was a war veteran, and when he came back from Vietnam, he was just never the same, and he doesn't like to talk or open up to Ari. So he has just become very angry at the world and a very closed off boy. And then one day at the pool, he meets Dante, and Dante, he sees the world in a totally different light than Ari. He likes to see the good in the world, and they form just this immediate friendship and this bond, and they just kind of grow up together and discover the world and their place in it. This book came in 2012, and we're still waiting for the sequel. Mr. Benjamin, chop chop, chop chop, sir. I'm waiting. I like check his Twitter like every day to see if he's said something about it. Hello. So I just checked the author's Twitter, and there is a release date, title, and cover coming this month. I'm not okay, guys. Okay, we'll do this one. This one's kind of short. So Sophia rated this 1 star, and she said, where to start? The quirky characters. Wait, quirky? Okay. The terrible writing, it's poetic. The long-winded analogies that fall in their heads, the lack of character development. Oh, child, okay. John Green, who? Ow! This book follows Ari, short for Aristotle because quirk. Shut the f up. Sorry. A perpetually angry, unbearably angsty, and utterly bland main character who has no personality other than being furious, which never actually shows. Yes, it does. Did you read the same book I did? Oh my god. And he does have a personality. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. His brother is in prison to make up for the lack of Ari's lack of character traits. He's more calm and deep than most peaceful teenagers. That doesn't make sense. Why is he more calm and deep than most peaceful teenagers? That doesn't make sense. Okay. He also tells himself he's not like other guys and repeats this countless times. He doesn't say that he's not like other guys. He says that he feels different from other guys, which is something that a lot of teenagers go through when they feel different than other people. I find it hard to take anyone seriously when they talk like this, let alone a character who's supposed to be tough. You know, there's a thing that's called putting up a wall, a mask. Okay, Sophia. Dante is Ari's best friend. Their friendship begins immediately. They meet each other at the pool and make some really dumb jokes that aren't funny at all. Have you ever heard teenage boys talk and try to make jokes? They spend their days sharing poetry, speaking in analogies, and generally being quirky. Okay, there's a lot of books that I could point out as being quirky. This isn't one of them. There's no plot. Because it's a character-driven book. Don't go into the book when you want the plot because it's a character-driven book, and it's made pretty clear from the synopsis. They don't develop. That's a bold statement for you to make. This book makes me want to crawl in a dark hole and stay there until it all stops. I originally rated this 2 stars, but looking back, Aristotle and Dante didn't have any redeeming characteristics. It's just bland. 1 star, stop with the quirkiness already. Nobody cares. I sure care. A whole lot of people sure care. I'm so sorry about the backing in the background. Let's see, the What does that even say? Okay. Where do I even begin with this review? I don't know what killed book for me the most. You're missing a word in there, buddy. Maybe read over your sentence again. Maybe proofread before you post, okay? Okay. The terrible writing, the one-dimensional characters, or the lack of a plotline. Again! Character-driven book. Oh my god, people. I don't understand the hype for this book, nor do I understand why the cover is decorated with rewards. Hell yeah, it is, baby. Get used to it. Was I reading the same story as everyone else? This is my 3rd time trying to read this book. It took me 3 tries to finish it. I think my main issues with this book is Aristotle and Dante themselves. My heart. Not you coming after my babies. Dante cried over everything. Not the toxic masculinity coming out here. Oh, can a boy not cry? Oh, a boy has feelings. Sound the alarm. Aristotle and Dante's friendship didn't feel real. There was 0 chemistry between the 2 of them. You get no feelings while reading about their relationship, you know? I sure did, so I think that might be you problem, sir. And the dialogue was atrocious, and there were no breaks/beats in the writing. The lack of chemistry, plot, and character development really made this book an agonizing read. Don't read it. Okay, I feel like the writing style may not be for everyone. I'll give him that, you know? I'll give him that. I'll stop fighting with him for a minute. But I personally loved it. And frankly, that's the only person who matters. So the next book we're going to be reading some reviews of is Red, White, and Royal Blue. Guys, this is my ultimate comfort read. Like whenever I'm in a reading slump or I'm just super sad, I read this book. This book just makes me so happy. You guys, you don't understand. I love this book with my whole entire being. Alex and Henry. Oh, so good. This book is about Alex Claremont Diaz, who is the son of the first female president of the United States. And he's kind of a rivalry going with Prince Henry of England. And one day they accidentally cause a international kind of fiasco. You know, it doesn't look too good for them. And so to fix this little kind of disaster, they need to make themselves look good again. So to do that, they have to kind of play nice and pretend to be friends for the public. But soon that newfound friendship kind of starts to turn into a little bit more. But that's quite complicated since they are kind of the figureheads of two countries, you know? This book is steamy and it's hilarious. It's just, every character just is, I can't rave enough about this book. Oh, my ultimate comfort read. So let's read some 1-star reviews. Kiki rated it 1 star. Let's see what Kiki has to say, everyone. Not for me, that's an understatement. I get that a lot of people love this. I can see why. Thank you, Kiki. It has its charms, and I'm sure that for a lot of people it was a fun escape. Yes, it was, Kiki. But I am clearly not the intended audience for this. It is a diatribe of smug, naive American exceptionalism against a stereotyped, sterilized, Anglo-centric image of the UK that masquerades as anti-monarchist, but ultimately worships the royal family as an institution. I don't know where you're getting that from, Kiki, but okay. Yet, this book presents itself as some kind of authority on contemporary issues. It only chews and chews on stupid, irrelevant quips about the monarchy's bloody history, as if the UK is trapped in some kind of time slip, preventing it from progressing beyond the 17th century. As if anyone here could possibly give a white-hot daily shite about some dead king while there are actual real things happening. What real things? Brexit, maybe. Or poor and injured people dying on universal credit. I get what they're saying, but at the same time, this isn't the book that was supposed to be touching on current issues in our everyday world. It's an escapism book. So I get it, but it's a little unfounded. Moving on. Similarly, the main character, oh no, not Kiki coming after Alex, is a rude, judgmental, insufferable arsehole, and the narrative tickles him under the chin for it. What is that? What is tickles him under the chin for it? But for real though, don't come after Alex like that, Kiki. He's not only ignorant, but also outwardly cruel. All of his humor being at the expense of others and usually behind their backs. His claim about wanting to make the world a better place made me laugh out loud. Doesn't everyone want to make the world a better place? Doesn't everyone, Kiki? Do you not? Do you not? The central relationship had some cute moments, but was also highly unrealistic and dysfunctional. Okay. The good versus evil dichotomy. I feel so stupid, I can't say that. Of American politics, particularly the glorification of two-party. The glorification? Okay. Also left a horrible taste in my mouth. I am not against heavy critiques of reprehensible Republican policies. Far, far from it. But ignoring the historical corruption also present amongst the Democratic Party and presenting them as some kind of untouchable, perfectly woke force for good is utterly disingenuous. Okay, this is a genuine critique, and I do agree with it. I thought the politics was a little unrealistic, a little good versus evil. Personally, for me, I could overlook that because of how happy that book makes me, but that is a fair one, Kiki. I'll give you that one. Anyway, moving on. We'll see if there's another short one. Virginia. I know about Virginia. I don't know, ginger, but okay. Maybe 1.5, don't know. But now let's just keep it low to show all my disappointment and disgust. This book was so bad. I don't even want to write a detailed review because this does not deserve my time anymore. I'm just doing a list. Boring and full of cliches. Boring. 2, absolutely pointless. This one made me really angry because the main plot is basically just 2 characters having sex or doing blowjobs to one another at some international events. Bad writing. In all caps. This book is a porn. This is a new adult romance. It's gonna have some sexy times. And if you didn't want to read that, if you didn't want to read a romance between 2 20-year-olds, why did you pick it up? The relationship between the 2 MCs is sex. Full stop. And you're telling me this is meant to be YA? It's not. It's meant to be new adult. You new adult. 5, bad LGBTQ representation. Because from what emerges from this book, gays are not capable of loving each other. At least they have sex. Disgusting. The only good thing about it was the humor in some scenes. Oh, and the cover. That's all, folks. See you with the next anticipated book that turns out to be trash. Okay. There was a lot to unpack there. I don't know. Okay. Next book. The next book that I am going to read bad reviews of is The Song of Achilles. I love this book. This book makes me cry. This book is absolutely gorgeous. So this book is a Greek mythology retelling, and this book follows Patroclus. I don't know how to say it. And as a young boy, he was exiled from his kingdom, and he was sent to go live in this other kingdom. I don't remember the name of it, quite frankly. And from there, he meets and he forms a friendship with the prince of that kingdom, Achilles. They just grow up together and they become really good friends, and eventually they become something more. But when Achilles makes the decision to live a short life in favor of a long-lived legend, memory, I'm forgetting the word for it, but you know what I mean, and he goes off to war, Patroclus, his friend / lover dude follows after him, and from there, their tragic fates are set into motion. I'm just gonna get right into it. K, rated 1 star. Okay, K. So funny. Okay. I'm going to disagree with the Orange Prize Committee. I'm going to disagree with thousands of Goodreads reviewers. This book is crap. Okay, all you trolls, go ahead and tell me what a Philistine I am, how ignorant I am of Greek literature and mythology, and how my failure to appreciate this book reflects my limitations rather than those of the book. I'm glad you can see your own faults, Kay. You know, self-acceptance is the first step. I don't remember what the rest of that phrase is, but it's the first step to something. Boring Patroclus, I'm just gonna say Patroclus, wholly infatuated with the impossibly perfect Achilles, who even more impossibly returned Patroclus's passion. Lots of purple prose, lots of love, daring battles, blah, blah, blah. I got halfway through and decided I was finished wasting my time. Oh, so you DNF'd it. Then why are you writing a 1-star review if you DNF'd it and you didn't even finish the book? Okay. Fine with Patroclus and Achilles being in love, but a little complexity, please. How about some characterization? How about some relationship tension from within, not just without, Obviously you didn't read the last half of the book because there is tension within. Perhaps this was in part because all the accolades led me to expect something far more literary or deep. I think your definition of literary is slightly different from what most people's is. And maybe had I read the Iliad, I would have been more excited by the references and more forgiving of the book's flaws. So feel free not to take my word for it, but I found this book incredibly disappointing. Thank you, Kay. I won't take your word for it. Okay, this is kind of a long one. We'll see. 1.5 stars. This is by Paz RM. Aw man, where do I start with this one? I know that the majority of people love this book. They cried, they were heartbroken, and it was the best thing they ever read and shit. But for me, it was just so boring. I mean, I can't really argue against that. If you find it boring, you find it boring. Nobody else did, but you know. The characters were horrendous. If I wanted to read the most useless, passive, and boring narrator, ow, that hurts. Being in love with this attractive golden god dude with no personality. And when he does have one, he just turns to a selfish prick. I would reread Twilight. Seriously, can Patroclus be any more of a Bella? That is a low blow, my friend. The writing was mediocre. Mediocre? Okay. But the dialogues were often ridiculous and the pacing was off. This story never seemed to end. Now I wonder, how the hell does an epic tale become such a bland, flat story? He's solely there to admire every physical aspect of Achilles. Damn, this guy had a thing for homeboy's feet. Oh my god, this is funny. Seriously, Patroclus, we get it. Achilles' feet were soft and pink and smell amazing. I got the message, and I also got how golden his skin and hair and everything in him was. Guy's hot. Noticed. What drove me crazy was the fact that Achilles really was the sole reason of Patroclus' existence. Really? Was Achilles the reason Patroclus' parents decided to give birth to him? Was Achilles the reason? I didn't know that. Okay. Without him, he didn't know how to do anything. He didn't have a reason to live, and I just, really? We're going there? The whole, if he dies, I'll die too, because there's nothing for me after him speech. Even though Patroclus and Achilles had zero chemistry, seriously, how many times do these guys talk? Like, really talk in this book? Okay, first of all, they grew up together, so they had to have talked. To the zero chemistry thing, just really, that hurts, because I felt it. Achilles, he had no personality either until almost the end of this book, and then he turns into this selfish, proud asshole that, even though is letting everyone be killed and failing to notice how dumb his decision is still admired and revered by Patroclus. Okay, first of all, he's not. Patroclus is like not admiring his actions. He definitely is not. Get your head out of the gutter, miss. This book took me more than a month to read. More than a month! That sounds like a you problem. A book that I was planning to finish in 4 days. It seemed like it would never end. The prophecy said that Achilles would die shortly after Hector. You don't know how many times I was rooting for this dude to die just so everything could end soon. Someone could please kill Hector now. Damn. I mean, I get it. Maybe the book's just not for everyone. It isn't. There's no book that is universally appealing, and I get that. But sometimes I'm really like, did y'all read the same book that I did? So the last book that I am going to read some better reviews is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I'm not gonna give a summary, you know what Pride and Prejudice is about. I love this book. I'm really just curious what the people who rated this book 1 star would have to say. I don't understand how you could rate Pride and Prejudice anything less than 4 stars. Okay, this is a really short one. Rex said, the most overrated book in the history of literature. The plot border between meaningless and trivial. But see, these plots were trivial back in this time. They were actually very important things back in this time. I was forced to read this book in 9th grade English class. This is perhaps the most tedious school assignment I've received to date. So maybe read it now when you're not being forced to read it and when you're not a freshman. But for the record, I read this book when I was a freshman for school and I loved it. So, I don't know. Anyways, for several pages, a lady remarks to a man about what wonderful handwriting he has. Not exactly gripping material, actually, but that scene is absolutely hilarious, okay? You're just not understanding the humor in it. This entire book seemed to be about hormone-driven, marriageable age creatures trying to outwit each other in word and on the dance floor. That's what I love about it. That's the charm. Oh. Guys, I don't think you understand how much I love period dramas and Regency area things. I love them. The book is bad enough, but to complicate matters, women pledge allegiance not only to the book, but also to the gazillion-hour movie. I'm not sure how I feel about that last comment. Go on, Rex. Say more. Say more, maybe. Reg rated this. This book has been billed as one of the greatest love stories in all of literature. I have no idea why. When the story begins, Elizabeth Bennet is smart, independent, and not overly concerned with bagging a husband, which, by standards of Victorian England, makes her a feminist trailblazer. Then she meets Mr. Darcy, who acts like an insufferable prick. This in a society obsessed with grace and good manners. And Elizabeth has the good sense to identify Mr. Darcy as the insufferable prick he is. And so she spends the first part of the book rightly loathing this asshole. Have you read the end of the book? He's not an asshole. She's an asshole on the outside. Fast forward, by chance, Elizabeth finds herself touring Darcy's palatial estate, meeting his hundreds of servants, using his solid gold bidet. I forget how to pronounce that word. When did she do that? Give me the page number. When did she do that? And suddenly she starts thinking that Mr. Darcy isn't such an asshole after all. Oh, so you're telling me that Elizabeth is a gold digger. That's what you're getting at here. Okay, Greg. The moral of the story seems to be that enough money can make even the most abrasive and obnoxious jerk seem like Prince Charming. You know what this guy is? This guy is one of those guys that got rejected in middle school and now just really misconstrues everything, and is one of those guys where like, girls always fall for the jerks. For the jerks. And they never want to go out with me. They never want to go out with me. And I'm nice. I'm so nice. And because I'm nice, you should feel obligated to give me attention and affection. Yeah, Greg, okay, sure. And what's really frustrating is that when you realize that it's 200 years later, and while the world has changed immensely, the people are still the same. Go society. So if you want to read a real love story, read Anna Karenina. If you want to read the biggest piece of anti-feminist drivel in a literary canon, then by all means, read Pride and Prejudice. Oh, Greg, you just keep proving my points. Who would have thunk? Okay, so that is it for this video. I had actually a really fun time bashing these people. I feel like people have different reactions when you react to somebody hating on your favorite book. There is either the one that is just very saddened by the people that are bashing their favorite books and it just hurts them. But I feel like I'm the other type that just gets very defensive and angry. Oops, well. I hope you enjoyed me yelling at random people on the internet for an extended amount of time. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell, do whatever you need to do, but especially if you want to see more content like this. And be sure to follow my Goodreads down in the description below if you want to be constantly updated on everything that I'm reading. And that's that. Bye-bye.